My name is Ilse, not Elise. Sorry about that. No, don't be. Vowels are hard for you guys, and I get it. That's fine. No offense, though. No offense. Anyways, can you hear me right? Can you hear me? All right, cool. Thank you so much for having me here. Before I start, I do want to acknowledge that I know that there has been a big loss in the community, and I want to reinforce what Narc said. Words matter and are important, and they're beautiful. So let's take care of words and take care of people. Alright? Thank you so much for having me here. So this is a point that talks about like nostalgia and like friendship. It's basically about how I've been feeling these last couple of weeks watching all of my friends live, and how Jose Pablo, who moved out of the country, wanted to sell me everything he had in his room, including his 6-foot mirror. That thing is so big, brother, I barely fit in my eyes. I thought, damn, how many people can fit in here? So I wanted to go back and write about the day we met. That was a life. I felt inspired like never before, and then just overflowed as always. I rethink 3 different ways to reach perfection, and they're all insufficient. But then I remember my flag football coach. Games are won in practice, he said. And I don't practice anymore, but I write. I think about the details, about letting myself go and seeing what comes out. Every gram of graphite is like one of those screams I used to shout while training. Now that was a life. I have it so much in me that I actually saw my coach yesterday, but he wasn't him and I wasn't me. He was just a man sitting in table 36, seat 2, and I was just a bartender looking for my past life. Maybe it was him, but he didn't know it. Maybe he got confused on his way to training camp and accidentally ended up in the same life as me. I wanted to approach and ask if he also felt trapped by mistake, but I confirmed that he was not me. And I stopped 2 centimeters away from bumping into the plate of bullying muscles that my Colombian coworker was carrying, and even though I knew she only spoke Spanish, I said sorry. And I asked myself what I was doing. Unplugging the drain full of black water at the middle of my shift, I wondered what I was doing and why I wasn't writing. What am I doing so far away? This beach doesn't even look like the ones in which I used to dream about a life. I wanted to go back, so I watched rap battles with my brother and remember how beautiful Spanish is. And the place I come from, decorated with palm trees and heat, hot sidewalks, and a painter who works downtown. His studio is a wall in a vacant lot and a wooden bench. Him, like his paintings, are surely sustained by memories, and so I wonder if I'm still there, watching him from the car, in my elementary school uniform while mom drives to buy tortillas on her way home, but home is not home anymore. I wanted to go back to an hour ago, when I said goodbye to Jose Pablo in this brief moment of life we shared. I wonder if his street will save her heart. I realized that I have learned to pronounce August with warm tones and expensive farewells. It has been more out of habit than conviction, and for some years now, I have discovered myself to be the one who stays in the same place, not by conviction, but by fear of new habits. And I know that I have grown, but I also know that I have never left any place that I've been, because in every space I walk, I look for the smell of tortilla, Angelian painting, and a coach to follow. How many lives have I lost by remembering the ones I have already lived? I wanted to go back, but I never left. I felt I was drowning, so I went swimming to the sea. I needed a friend, so I bought Jose Pablo's 6-foot mirror. I set it up in my room. I could see my whole reflection. I faced my eyes and thought, damn! How many people can fit in here? I do have that mirror. It's pretty cool. It's a nice mirror. I don't regret buying it. But since then I've been thinking a lot about like life and when people leave and come and like purpose and dumb stuff like that. So this next poem is kind of like you want to move but you can and you don't and you want to. And so like one day I was like, I'm gonna do things. I'm gonna be productive, you know, I'm gonna do stuff. And I wanted to, But the Boston Common was right there. Right? And I was there. And everybody else was not. Autumn has never felt this warm and this lonely, and Orange has never looked so much like my mom. So I couldn't understand how everybody was just walking to be somewhere that was not here. I knew I had to be one of them though. On Monday, Ilse complained about not working at the thing she wanted and instead working at the job that once was all that she wanted. Just enough. But then, she dared to desire and imagine and feeling more than she could be. So she started to plan a bunch of activities she will do on her day off, and now she's there, stuck in yesterday. And I am here, cheating on her dreams. Because the Boston Common is just right there, so naturally I had to be here because my mom is not. And the leaves keep painting my eyes with the memory of her saying, "This is all so pretty." And how could I keep going to live the life I need to live the life I want to have instead of living the life I'm already wasting? If I can just be here, waiting to decide if I should go or not to the group of people that gather every Tuesday to draw someone naked. That particular day, the model was late, so they asked for a volunteer, and I know that all of my exes are either going to feel mad or jealous or just weird for the following, but I never wanted so bad to take my clothes off. Being naked, in front of a bunch of strangers, all of them watching me but none of them seeing me, sounds like the best and worst thing that could happen to me. Sounds like the thing that is happening to me right now, and the thing that happened to me while I cried my heart out in that room. But wouldn't that be hilarious? The fact that Ilse planned on something and then Ilse was just naked the next day? I know I have to be somewhere, even though I'm not sure where that is yet. But I promised my parents I will become someone, and I promised myself to be happy, and sometimes those two things don't look the same way and are probably not in the same place. I wish I could describe what I feel properly, so that way I could stop writing, so I could be what I once wanted the most. Enough. I will look for a flat life, hold it to the ground, but that safeness that is born once passion becomes desire, and desire stops moving and yours starts hurting. But there's just that something about having a life ahead, and I'm just here, letting the afternoon roll right over me while I buy myself an overrated coffee and laugh at all of these people who desperately need to be somewhere. No one knows where I am, and no one is waiting for me anywhere, and no one notices that I'm crying, so I just keep doing it until I laugh. And I keep sipping the ignorance of this entire city and think to myself, $6 for a cortado? I should have gotten the cappuccino. But isn't it funny how sad and grateful I felt? How dry the streets feel full of AirPods. How big my smile is after imagining myself naked in front of 30 strangers betraying the Ilse of yesterday. How late I was to nothing! And instead, how I just live today, exactly for what it was. I used to write a lot about love. I think I keep doing it just in different ways. In ways of like me screaming at people that I'm sad. That's love for me, if you ask me. But I have a little love poem, you know? Also, if you want to record anything that I'm saying, please do and send it to me. I'm making like a little video and stuff. If my camera doesn't explode, it will be like somewhere. So yeah, this is a love poem, because go love, am I right? Except when it's not nice. But anyway, this is also like really smooth, really calming. Thank you so much for that. So just like close your eyes and think about someone you love, or I don't know, whatever. Okay. Everything in this universe is moving. And I find it so sad that we're so accustomed to our inertia that we forget to pay attention to those little sparks that our eyes generate when they are scratched by others when we walk on the street. Something specific in this universe moves at its own pace, circumstances, beliefs, and context. barely brushing against 1,000 other things that also move, believing that everything is a coincidence until suddenly it clashes with another. And there is a point of collision that forces you to stop and see how everything moves, and you realize how incredible and unlikely it is to touch someone who also wants to touch you. Someone who suddenly exists and stops in the same space as you. That this pause creates this unforgettable capsule of life where both trajectories collide in a glance, that becomes a kiss, that stops in a hug, in the privilege of witnessing the past trajectory of the other, of realizing that everything out there is moved by adrenaline, but will never be as rewarding as stopping for love. Sometimes it's hard for me to believe that we manage to exist in the same moment, feeling the same thing. My life used to feel like a straight line that crashed into every wall that came across it. And for some reason one day I hit your spiral. It will always be my honor to say that I collided with you. And that moment when we stopped was because you dared to look at me beyond my coincidences. There wasn't a day when I wasn't grateful for being able to pass the sunrise to see you asleep, to silence the streets to watch you walk, to stop the wood of this old apartment that hopelessly falls down just to hear footsteps from the kitchen to my mouth, and feel that the universe was moving around our sphere. Man, people forget all the captions of life they form when they hold hands and say they love each other. Now I understand that the past is the only thing that lasts forever, and that's why I insist that I'm always going to love you. I'll just forget that I do. As painful as it is to say that I realized that I could spend the rest of my life with you, I also realized that the rest of my life had not arrived yet. That one day, you loved me so much you let me go. And just as our collision generated undescribable traces, it also created a new trajectory, with slight curves, with spontaneous straight lines, one that doesn't drag you but doesn't forget you either, one that one day will collide again. Done this before, and I want to do it every day now. Thank you so much. By the way, what the fuck? Give it up for the band. I feel like, wow, insane. I would love to say that this poetry is for you guys, but low-key right now it's for me. I'm like having so much fun. It's like, this is crazy.